Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman, and as you can see, we are remote. Actually, we are at the Grand Traverse Resort, and we're here for Carla Bailo's Center for Automotive Research annual briefings, right? The seminars. It's good to be here. Tell us a little bit about what's taking place right now.
Oh, we have just a great agenda for everyone. We have a lot on electrification, some of the policies that are being talked about today, be it from the IIJA or now from the latest CHIPS Act, and then we also have the Inflation Reduction Act. A lot of discussions about that. A lot of talk also about diversity and leadership and how that's changing in the world of remote work. And just deep dives in Industry X and automation and how the manufacturing process is changing, again, along with electrification. So it's electric.
Well, it's kind of interesting because it's electric. I like that. Everybody I've had on here, I said, I remember when we used to come here, we used to talk about cars, about automobiles. Now we're talking about management. We're talking about how to keep your employees, how to work in remote, et cetera, et cetera.
Data.
Yes. I mean, but it's all integral to the success of the mobility industry.
Absolutely, because these are new waters that have not been navigated previously.
Yeah.
So as an industry, we need to be talking about this and learning best practices and how we need to adapt and change. The employee of yesterday is not the employee of today or tomorrow.
No.
And as leaders in your organization, you have to be ready and create that kind of company that people want to work for.
Well, you've got some other things going here. Big time awards given out. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we had the Altair Lightweighting Awards, and they were held yesterday morning, and then sessions are going to be talking, some of the winners will be talking about their innovations. The interesting thing there is it used to all just be, hey, we saved this much weight and the cost didn't increase. But now, not only do you have to save weight and keep costs the same or reduce cost, but you have to also be using sustainable materials, sustainable processes, less energy. So it has become, much deeper in terms of content and, again, impact to society.
Yeah, new materials, big part of it.
Absolutely.
Making things lighter.
Absolutely. 3D printing, multi-material welding, objectives and analysis.
So no one will know this better than you. Where do we stand? Because everybody is dying to take away the automotive center of the world from Michigan.
Well, we still stand very well. I mean, when you look at the amount of R&D, the amount of engineers that we have in this state, we're doing well. Where we need to improve, and if you happen to see the session yesterday with myself and Quentin Messer, is we need to start winning some of those projects here that are going elsewhere. And we need to create that inclusive environment here in the state to make that happen. And that includes equity in transit, taking a look at how we're training our workforce, how our educational community is stepping up to face the challenges of the workplace of tomorrow.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. And Quentin's the right man, too, by the way.
I believe so.
I'm glad you're in there. He's been a valuable addition as the director of MEDC. Okay, so let's talk about that workforce again, because I was just talking with Glenn Stevens, and he's going to go deliver a speech on housing. Now, who would have thought the mobility industry would get into housing? But when people work for you, they've got to have affordable housing.
Yeah, it kind of goes back. I don't know if you remember when Henry Ford first opened the manufacturing plants here in Michigan.
I wasn't there.
My mother's family lived in the Ford Village. They came up from the south.
Sure.
They needed workers, and Henry Ford provided housing because they couldn't afford anything. They were poor pig farmers. They had nothing to their name. They needed it. We have the same situation happening today. And you wouldn't think the home of mobility needs to be providing, transportation options for people to get to and from work, but we need to.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of back to the future in some ways.
Well, in a new style of management. I mean,
absolutely.
Because we've got a new style of employee, right?
Indeed, for sure.
Matter of fact, that's one of the things that Priscilla was talking about, Priscilla Archangel, was how you become kind of the leader for the new employees, right? And there's a lot of things to consider.
And it's a whole different leadership style. It's not direct and demand. It's a coaching. It's a sensitivity, reading what people are thinking, trying to understand what motivates them, trying to see, are you having a good day or bad day? And if you're having a bad day, tell me about it. How can I help? How can I be understanding? It's a much different skill set. So the leaders of tomorrow are going to be morphed again.
Well, and the irony is you want to make it a place they want to come.
Absolutely.
At the same time, they don't come as much.
Right.
Right? With the remote stuff. So
for sure, but they still want to belong.
Right.
Regardless if they're in an office or remote, they want to feel like they're part of the team. That's so important.
Part of a family. You're absolutely right. Well, listen, Carla, thank you so much for joining. I know what today is like for you. Carla Bailo, the head of CAR, the Center for Automotive Research, and we are at their management briefing seminars at the Grand Traverse Hotel. I'm Chris Holman. You're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network.